Okay, so we've got the plug all cleaned up. All right, you can see I'm a clean freak myself. When I'm working on things, I like to have them clean. I make sure this is all cleaned out in here. No debris that can get back up into the system. This surface where the gasket goes, take a straight edge razor and I carefully go around here and I clean all the gasket material off that's stuck, or any adhesive or anything to that surface that the gasket rides on. Get it all off of there, all of it. It'll kind of fool you. You might think you got it all, and you look closely, you'll see. So just clean it, look at it real close, go around. The surface should almost kind of be getting a little bit polishy looking like when it's nice and clean. Okay. I don't know. Lighting's not very good today. You can see that how it's got kind of a little polished looking surface to it. And the other thing is, if you use paper towels like I did to wipe it clean and everything, I always take a little bit of carburetor cleaner when I've cleaned it real good in solvent, and like a toothbrush, and go around the threads. I spray the whole thing and just clean it with a toothbrush or a little brush or something, a little wire brush. And make sure you get all the little fibers off, because these paper towels leave a lot of fibers behind. A guy could use a cotton cloth or some of those blue shop rags that don't leave fibers. But you can use the paper towels. Make sure you get all your fibers and stuff off of there. Okay. I don't have a new gasket, so I'm going to make one using this gasket material from Napa Auto Parts. Rubber fiber sheet for sealing oil, water, or gasoline. Pretty good stuff. I like it. Inexpensive. You can buy it in a roll and cut off what you need. And I'll take the old gasket, and I've laid on top here and traced it with a Sharpie pen. So I use the old gasket as a template, and then I will take a razor knife here, okay, and I'll carefully cut it out. So I want to make sure on the inside diameter that I kind of cut to the inside of the black line, because if it's too big on the inside, it'll have trouble going over the threads, and you can tear the gasket. So I don't want it too big and I don't want it too small. I'll try to get it just about right, where I can still get it over there. And if there's any excess on the outside, once I get it on, I can take my knife at a 90-degree angle and I can go around and trim it off real nice. So that's how I do these plugs. And then what I'll do is I'll take some white Teflon tape here, and I'll go around the threads. Make sure you go in the right direction, so when you screw it on, it's not pulling the tape off, but it's actually flowing with the rotation of the threads. Okay. And then what I do is I'll take because some of it's going to be sticking up above the ledge here, and you don't want that to come off and get into your pump system or any of your hydraulics or gears or anything you may be working on. So whatever is sticking up above this surface, I take my razor blade, kind of a little bit of an angle, and I just gently scrape all the way around and get that off of there, and pull it off and discard it. And I want that Teflon tape to be down, so when I screw this in, it's not sticking up above here and can rip loose and get inside the system. Alright, so I'll have my gasket on there first. I'll Teflon tape it, and then what I'll do after I got the gasket on is I take some this Permatex Aviation Forma gasket, and I separate here the gasket. There's a little brush on the end of the applicator. I get most of the, I don't want gobs of it on there. Wipe most of it off on the edge of the can. Get the little brush down in between the gasket and the metal, and just pull it around and get a little film on between the gasket and the metal here. And then I'll get a little film around the top of the gasket, and then immediately go over and put it on the tractor. Of course, before I put it on, I will be cleaning the bottom of that pan where this came out of. That needs to be cleaned up. Any debris, oil, grease, with some cleaner and rags and whatnot. And I'll get that all clean to make sure it's not dripping anymore. Keep that oil out of there, and then put that up and screw it on. And some guys will use anti-seize compound on the threads, but if I do that and then I try to apply this other stuff on here, it gets in the brush, and so this tape hopefully will help seal these threads, and not only that, should make this plug a whole lot easier to get off, because it's not going to rust or bind, okay, on the threads. I won't be tightening it that tight. I don't think it needs to be really super tight. Just kind of snug it up real good, and I'll put that on there, and then the new gasket and a little bit of that sealer on each side, and the tape on there to keep the threads from locking up should make a good seal, make it fairly easy to come off next time it needs to be worked on.